Aries, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for late August 2024. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know, I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business as always and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we could get right down into the action and see what's going on here for the lovely Aries collective. I hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going, my guides. Talk to me. What do you got for us Rams in late August? Do believe it's Virgo season as we speak. What energies, messages, insights do you have for us? And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. At the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean in on, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Aries. Please, late August Virgo season. What's happening for us? Me and my good friends, please. Okay, deck is being specific. There we go. Did a little flip. Okay, so time, such a simple construct, but it affects us all in a lot of different ways. And that's what this card really represents, because the symbolism is very simple, but this could be deep depending on what you're going through. Now, before we fully dive into that, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the August subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, you know, I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, into the reading. Let's talk more about this card. So once again, very simple image, and you see this lady here, she's wearing that shawl, holding the hourglass, and the sand is slipping through the hourglass and her fingers. So sure, I mean, this could be you waiting on something. I mean, hopefully you don't feel like you're wasting your time. And for a lot of people that are familiar with Aries placements, and trust me, I have a few myself, we're time-sensitive individuals. We're not known for our patience. We can be, of course, but we don't really like to waste time. But I will say, aside from that, when I see this card, I mean, there could be various ways that time could be affecting you. For some of you, maybe time feels like it's flying. Maybe you feel like you're waiting forever on something. For a portion of you, maybe a certain amount of time needs to elapse for you as well. And it all really depends. Once again, it's a very personal relationship we have with time, because it's always changing depending on how we perceive things. So that's the big thing when this shows up front, is like there could just be a matter of time for something, or it's just playing an effect. So we're just going to put her down right there. She could keep messing around with that hourglass. Let's get into tarot. And yeah, I always say the first card here, it doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 cards in the upright, then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. So let's shuffle it up one time here for the beautiful Aries collective guides. And yeah, while we get this deck shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. I like the energy that was shown through. It was titled An Explosive Breakthrough. And keep in mind, that energy could still bleed over for a couple of weeks. So we have this time here showing up this week, and I was seeing things breaking through for you. So if there are certain situations that have been frustrating, certain things that have been lingering and not seeing a lot of progress, to me, it just felt very sudden, very quick, very fiery. So, which is a good thing for Aries placements, right? So let's see what we have this week. As you know, energy is very fluid. It's never set in stone. So only take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or someone that you're linked to. Let's get it going. 3 cards here for Aries to start us off. What do we got in late August as we move towards September? Thank you, Moon. So we are starting with mystery. Okay. That's always extra intriguing when we start off with the Moon, the biggest card of mystery in the whole entire deck. Very subtle, not as fiery and straightforward as I was picking up last week, that's for sure. Let's get a couple more. Hopefully it's good. There we are. We have the Knight of Wands, big action. So I'm optimistic here. I'm cautiously optimistic with what's showing up now. Let's get one more out here, then we'll piece it all together. What do we have for Aries, please? One more card to start. Okay. Okay, we have the 8 of Swords, so the explosive energy still holding true on the back, and that could be good, but this is a little high strung. Okay, so if this isn't you, these energies presenting here on the background are like a little wound tight. So let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes, then we'll get into that juicy intuitive stuff. But at first look, first glance, we have a nice mixture of elements happening here. We got some water, we got some fire, we have some air. When these two combine on the back, like, yeah, it could be a little volatile. I always say that when we mix fire and air, but this water could definitely cool it off. Now, we could be looking at several different situations here, or it could all just be one thing. But again, when I see the Knight of Wands with the Eight of Swords, to me, it just feels, I don't want to say it's nervous, but it's just like pent up energy. That's like last week energy that's going to move forward eventually. So let's go through piece by piece and really start to build this out, because I have a feeling this is going to be a very nuanced reading. So position number one, we have the Moon card. Now, zodiacally, this could link into a Pisces you might be connected to. For some of you, it could be a Cancer. I always give them a little shout out with this card because of the Moon. It's their ruling luminary. But this is a super subtle energy, whereas back here, this is like very high strung, about to like pop off any second. This one is like cool. It's in the background. It's not really doing much. It's letting things float. It's subtle. It's intuitive. I always say that your energetic sensitivity could be heightened whenever the moon is here, because it's about the dream state. It's very etheric, psychic gifts, the whole nine. But the big thing with the moon is it's the biggest card of mystery in the whole entire deck, because it's nighttime. So whether it's unexpected things or surprising things, I really want to see what's underneath this. Now, the positives of the moon, like, yeah, maybe something good's coming your way that you don't quite see coming yet. In its negative sense, it could represent secrecy and people purposely hiding things. I don't want to get anyone all paranoid, but I always like to just give the positive and the challenge of every card. And usually the moon is just signaling an overarching theme. So we're going to see what's up with that for sure. Just know that you could be feeding or feeling the energies of those around you, even places. There's just a heightened sensitivity, if I could say, like when we mix this all together. Now, moving to the center, we have the Knight of Wands. And I said it when it popped out, there we are. That's us right there, the Aries collective. Now, for a portion of you, if you're connected to another fire sign, this could even be them. And it's not gender specific. Knights are all about action. They're all about making moves, taking leaps, doing the thing. They could also be communicators, messengers. So this could be conversational in one way or another. But this Knight of Wands, it's moving quick. It's moving fast. It's coming in hot. So when we come from a card of like shrouded energy, hidden, not much happening on the surface, into this Knight of Wands, it's like, boom, it's coming in really quick. Now, for a portion of you in my simplistic reading, the clarifier could just tell us a way we might be feeling, something that might be coming towards us, of course. But the dark side, or the rough side of this Knight of Wands, is that it could be extremely spontaneous. It could be very unpredictable. This could be a person where it's like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to get from you today. It's like one of those. So we'll see how it all plays out, especially with this high tension that I'm picking up here on the back end. And we'll talk about it a little more. But you know how fire energy goes. Sometimes you get burned, but it could also be life-giving. So we're definitely going to have to clarify it to see what's up with that. Us Aries, we're not afraid of a little fire, though, right? Now, on to the back end, we have the Eight of Wands. Very wound tight. Now, you see this individual, they're surrounded by the swords. They got the blindfold, the hoodwink on. When we have a card of mystery, like both of these energies are a little subdued, and they're also representing that mysterious type of vibe. So we're going to want to uncover this for sure. The positives of this card is that it represents a situation or something you might be going through that goes away as quick as it comes in. So if you've got a problem or a situation you're dealing with, the Eight of Swords, it could just move out really quickly. It could be resolved fast. But in its challenge, this is a very stressed, anxious, nervous type of energy. For a portion of you, you might be feeling trapped. You might be feeling some cabin fever. That's why I'm picking it up here on the back end. For a lot of you, maybe you need to switch up the routine. Hopefully you're not feeling bored or cornered in any sort of way. So little adventures and changes to the routine could be very good for a lot of Aries in this time. But yeah, the positive of it, it's very liberating, and there's a problem-solving aspect to it as well. But it could also be someone feeling cornered or nervous. So we're going to dive deeper on all this, Aries. Let's do it. Let's jump in and clarify. Let's get a good shuffle here for my friends. What's going on for the collective, please? And yes, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on that moon. Oh, and yes, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Aries, you could drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. Okay, let's get it going here. Why is the moon in the mix? The Aries collective. Beautiful. Okay. All right. So for some of you, and I don't feel like this is something you're opposed to, we have the world in reverse underneath this moon. Now, this could be absolutely something popping back up surprisingly or unexpectedly, whether it's a situation or whether it's an individual. When the world is in reverse, I mean, usually in the upright, the world represents the close of a chapter, something coming to a conclusion, not always bad. So in reverse, it's absolutely something that could cycle back around. So just know in this time there could be certain situations where you're familiar with them or you've dealt with them before, and you might have to deal with it again. For a portion of you, this could be an individual. But yeah, when this moon is here with the world in reverse, it's either a surprising, unexpected return of something or someone. Okay, so whether this is something someone's planning or whether it's something that's just going to come up, the world in reverse. Now, this could also represent karmic energy, and I'll look and see as the reading progresses if we have any more karmic archetypes that show up, because I don't want to throw that message out the window. But yeah, with the moon and the world, that's like the biggest message that's coming through here. So expecting unexpected, because you might be getting some unexpected returns, surprising ones in various different ways. And I remember months back, and this flavor of energy shows up from time to time for all the signs. But I remember back around Aries season, this was a very prominent message for weeks and weeks and weeks. I'm starting to feel a very similar thing. So we're just going to move forward from it and see what's happening. For a very small portion of you, there might be something you've already concluded, you've already dealt with, where there's still some like shoddy information or things that you don't quite know or understand, but it's like, all right, well, whatever. The past is the past. Let's keep moving though. For some of you, letting go of something. I mean, I'm getting a lot of messages here, Aries. Let's see what the Knight of Wands has to say. Then we'll do a quick look at that Eight of Swords. So why is the Knight here? Why is the Knight of Wands here for Aries? All right, there could absolutely be something that you refuse to stress over anymore. And for a big portion of you, I feel like once you stop stressing about something, that's when it's going to swing back around or pop into your lap. Now, know that this doesn't have to be related to what we have here up front. It could be something totally different. And I was getting that little vibe here on the front end. There could be something you're possibly like releasing or saying, you know what, it's up to the universe. Whatever happens, happens. It is what it is. I don't know why it's giving me this vibe. And it's interesting, like surrounding this Aries figure, we have all this stress-induced energy. Now, the Nine of Swords in the upright would make me a lot more concerned. Okay, but when it's in reverse, it's letting go of that stress, letting go of something and just accepting it. So for a lot of you, just know if there's something you're manifesting, if you stop dwelling on it or you're not thinking about it over and over and over, that's when the universe is going to serve it up on a silver platter, especially with this karmic energy right here. So I'd say that's a pretty good thing. And for a lot of you, now could be a great time for stress relief. And we were seeing that here in the front end. There was like this tight energy, so to speak, or just like a high strung type of vibe. So now could be a great time for you to either release things or just find some way to blow off steam, whether it's physical activity, whether it's creative things, spiritual things. I mean, it all really depends on what you're into. But let's keep moving forward. Yeah, the big vibe in the middle is like, I'm not going to stress about it. It is what it is. Like, if it happens, it happens. So let's go in on that Eight of Swords. Then we'll do a quick little recap before we get into the shadow. So why is this Eight of Swords here for Aries, please? Quick, very quick. 10 of Cups, beautiful. Beautiful. And I really do like this. And one thing I will say in the clarifiers, there's a lot of things of somebody like looking at the end result, like what's happened and what's to come. The 10 of Cups in the upright is one of the best cards in the whole entire deck. So just know if you are going through some sort of process, if you are battling against time, if you're waiting on something, just know that the stress is going to be worth it. And remember, that could go for a lot of different reasons. For a portion of you, maybe it's career and business. For some of you, it could be relationship wise. But when I see the Eight of Swords and the 10 of Cups, it's like, okay, it is going to be worth it. Like in the end, you are going to have this win, this victory. And again, I love seeing the 10 of Cups because it's a happy ending to me. And although we have the world, although we have the 10 of Cups, and they can both signal chapters closing, it's not 10 of Swords, right? Like this isn't worst case scenario. So for a lot of you, I feel you coming out on the right side of something, which is really nice. It's a win, and something's going to be worth it for you. And for another portion of you, I was speaking about accepting something for what it is. Right here on the back end, it feels very similar. It's like, okay, well, I'm happy with it. Like whether forget the past. I'm happy with the outcome one way or another. Like, I'm not stressing about something anymore. So that's like the big vibe we're picking up here. Let's go through and do a quick recap. Then we'll get into the shadow card. I would say overall this is a nice energy, even though it's a little high strung. But if you kindly look in the box before the shadow card, position number 1, we do have the moon with the world in reverse. I did say it's a little touch of karmic energy, but a big vibe I'm picking up here is something unexpectedly or surprisingly like returning. So whether a situation or an individual, you name it, now could be a time where various things need to be revisited. Moving to the center though, I don't know if you're in the mood for it or not, because with the Knight of Wands, it has the Nine of Swords in reverse. It's like, okay, well, I'm not going to stress about it. And I also got this vibe of like coming to grips with something, accepting something as well. But for a good chunk of you, it's like, yeah, I just don't want to stress about it anymore. Like it is what it is at this point. I do like the way the energy's moving though, because when we get to the back end, we have the Eight of Swords with the Ten of Cups. Finding some sort of acceptance is good, and I saw it in the early part of the reading too. Like once you accept something for what it is, that's when the universe is going to serve you a manifestation, and it feels really good. So just know a certain process will be worth it. That's just how it feels to me. So please take a screenshot of that if you want to look into it further. Let's see what's in the shadows for you. So let's get a good shuffle here for Aries. What's in the shadows, please? Guides and spirit team. What's happening for my good friends? And yes, I always like to pull one shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge. They could be a good thing. So let's get you one. Oh, and yes, if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel, and I have much love for all my channel members. Okay, let's get this shadow card out. What is happening for Aries? Thank you. Eight of Wands, something picking up steam really, really quick. And this could really tie in with what we were seeing here up front. Remember, I was speaking about something you might have to revisit, whether you see it or not. The Eight of Wands is a big card of action, but it's also communication, speaking. So for some of you, there might be conversations that you need to have in the coming days and weeks. There might be certain emotions you need to express or that you weren't expecting to have, okay? Especially with what I'm picking up here in front. Because remember, the shadows, and Aries is not the type to bite their tongue. Normally, right? Sometimes we will, sometimes it depends on the place, but the Eight of Wands is someone who's letting it rip. So just know, I mean, you might be a little aggressive with your speech patterns in this time. You might let it rip in one way or another, but when I see this, it could just be a conversation you weren't expecting to have. Now, it doesn't feel bad to me. Yes, it's like a little uncontrollable since it's so fiery, but to me, with this Eight of Wands, I feel like it's action, it's forward movement and momentum, and this does lean positive. I would say just watch the temper in this time, because you might have a flare up whenever we see the Eight of Wands in the shadows. So a little temperamental, nothing wrong with that though, right? So let's just put that down right there, Aries. That's what I have for you this week. Don't click away just yet though. I'm going to give you the details of the August subscriber surprise. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can check out my digital calendar at my website, mastermetaphysics.com. And for the July subscriber surprise, the winners will be announced after this week's fire and air readings. But for the August subscriber surprise, I'm giving away 2 copies of the beautiful Gilded Tarot Royale, one of my favorite decks ever. So if you'd like to get your name in for this, it's 2 simple things. As always, my friends, first, you must be subscribed. And second, let me know down in the comments, if you could time travel, would you rather go into the past to meet your ancestors, or would you rather go into the future to meet your descendants? You'll be entered to win, and at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab. As always, my friends, much love, and I'll see you soon.